School told my son he could wear a dress next year if he felt like it.
Kids in Year 7 are being asked to role play being in a same-sex relationship.
There's people that are dying.
Hey guys, so normally I would put the big old boring part of registration dates etc. at the end of the video, but this one is important. So your ballot should be with you by the 7th of September if you are enrolled to vote. I hope you're enrolled to vote. Oh, I hope you're really registered. This should be with you by the 12th. The hand-in date, the final date, is November 7th. Don't leave it that late. Just get it over and done with. I probably should have said what we were talking about. It's the survey, the LGBT survey of whether or not we can get married. As you can tell, I'm pissed. Let's just get on with the video. So, if you did not know, Australia has still not legalized marriage equality. It's absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, I've been protesting this sort of stuff since I was around 15, which is coming on to a decade. Yes, I'm old. I was holding a rainbow flag when I thought I was straight. That's how long this has been going on for. And I just wanted to quickly have a little chatteroony about how ridiculous this all is, because oh my god, Australia, get it together, get it together. So to break it down for you really quick, I've got the gorgeous Lane Sainty. Really, she broke it down on her Twitter. If you don't follow Lane Sainty on Twitter and you want to know what's going on with queer stuff in Australia, get on that, she's great. Breakdown of how we're like maybe going to approach possibly getting marriage equality sorted in Australia. It's a plebiscite bill, it failed, and so we're now on to having a government postal vote. This postal vote is going to be run by the Australian Bureau of Statistics and not the Australian Electoral Commission, which is a massive issue, and I'll get into why that is in a moment. It's currently being challenged in the court. By the time this goes up, I will let you know if it's being sorted or not. As I'm filming, it hasn't been sorted. Sorry, this video is going to be a ramble because I'm so over it. Because it's being run by the ABS and not the AEC, there are just so many things that can happen because you're not held up. Like, you don't have to tell the truth. You literally just don't have to tell the truth. So there's been posters like this one going around. There's things like this because they're trying to basically peddle the idea that words like husband and wife will be taboo or something. A lot of the No campaign are using the whole freedom of speech situation and pretending that if we legalize two people being able to get married, then that suddenly means that all free speech is going to be shut down. Because the ABS and not the AEC, they can do that. And in general, it's just not nice. Imagine being a young person in Australia and seeing that just on your tram or on the street as you're walking by. It's just absurd that this is happening. It's not really. 2017 is proving itself to be more and more fucked politically as the days go by, but still. Anyway, it's easy for people to view these sorts of things as very abstract. I'm not even going to go into like youth LGBT suicide in Australia because it is so high. So high. Especially in places like Queensland. Queensland, I know, have it really bad. It's just wild to me. Like, I've been going to these protests and these rallies for a decade. And I'm only 24, like, it's not like I'm in my 50s and I'm like, wow, we've been fighting this for a while. Like, there have been people doing it so much longer than me. Anyway, I thought I would just quickly share with you two stories to show how real the effects of it are, because there's a whole lot of debate around should it be legalized, marriage, church, state, etc. And I think sometimes people forget that these are like people's lives that we're talking about. So anyway, just last year there were two men who decided to honeymoon in Australia. They were from England, they got married, and they chose the good old sunburned plains of Australia to celebrate. Tragically, one man lost his life while they were on honeymoon, which is just something I would never wish upon anybody at all. But then, because the marriage between two people of the same gender isn't even recognised in many states in Australia, David, the man who lost his life, his husband Marco, wasn't even recognised as his partner. In his own words, I'm just going to read it off here. Literally within an hour, I had no choice but to deny that we ever married. It made me feel humiliated and lonely. I felt like it was 20 years ago when you couldn't come out for fear of being treated differently. I asked if I could at least leave that part of the death certificate blank, but they said the drop-down box wouldn't allow it. Every decision surrounding what happened to David's body had to be legally signed off by David's father, and thankfully he was very supportive of Marco's decisions, but that isn't the case for a lot of LGBT people. Also earlier this year, Peter Boone, who was a massive activist in Australia for LGBT rights, died waiting to marry his partner of 50 years. He'd been fighting for equality in Australia for decades, and if you don't know who this guy is, I really recommend you check him out. I'll leave a link to something about him down below, because honestly, such an inspiring man. But he fought for it for decades, and he didn't even get to live to see the day that would happen. There's also just the whole discussion on how demeaning it is and how ridiculous it is. Like, imagine if this debate was going on about any other two consenting human adults. It just wouldn't happen. It's just so absurd. It's not hurting anyone. How do people— oh my god, I've literally, like, my words have just gone. It just sucks to know that like bigots and homophobes all around Australia get to like cast their no vote and be like, haha, had my say, not gonna let these people love each other legally. God, what freaks. Oh god, actual freaks. Anyway, this video didn't really have a point or a direction. I don't really, it's just been something I've been talking about so much lately. There was also so much going on to register as an overseas voter. Like, I had to call from the UK. You could only do it by phone to nominate someone in Australia. So I had to call them up and be like, hi, like my phone bill next month is going to be ruined because I had to call them so many times because the line kept dropping because they gave us, I think it was like 40 hours notice that this is how we could vote in this stupid survey. So because of that, lines were crashing. Maybe it was just my end. I spoke to one other person who was registering. They had the same issue, so I don't know if it was an overall thing. Maybe it was people calling from the UK. It is just the most ridiculous thing. And it's so annoying because it's inevitable. It's inevitable that this is going to happen. But yeah, if you're Australian and you registered to vote, I was tweeting a lot about it, but I didn't say anything on my channel. I'm very sorry. As you saw, I was taking a little break. But yeah, if you registered, please vote yes. Like, I know that no one watching me is like, should I vote yes? I'm not sure. But like, just please make the effort to go out and vote once you get your postal thing. Just get it over and done with. Thank you guys so much for watching. My Patreon's in the first line description as always. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. But more importantly, vote yes. Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye.